Welcome to In the Doghouse with Tim and Scott, presented by the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates, 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Gary Martin Hayes will join us shortly. In the meantime, you're stuck with us. Joining me is the voice of the Georgia Bulldogs, Friends of Georgia Radio Hall of Famer, and long time ago radio partner of mine, over 20 years ago, reunited. And it feels so good here in podcast land. Scott Howard. What's up, Scott? Oh, you got to make it official. Hold up that microphone that's attached to nothing. Yeah.
Yes.
You look so.
I'm doing well. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. And I can't take you seriously with that fake microphone in front of your mouth, but it does look very official. Is it attached to anything?
It's not fake. It's real. Just not connected.
It's a wireless mic for those listening and not watching.
I want it to be like you, or whichever direction I'm pointing here.
You see, I'm on
fancy smancy studio, and I've got paper clips and scotch tape on my end.
Well, you're in a library, clearly, with what it looks like, your backdrop there. I mean, you're so studious. Yeah, look at that. See, every week, we're, of course, recording this, and you can see it on YouTube, by the way. If you're just listening, none of this makes sense to you, but go over to YouTube and watch it. But every week, Scott has a different background. And today, I mean, you look so smart with all those books back there that you probably never read.
Most of them are comic books. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Although I think there's a new one coming out next month. So my son and I used to read those when he was little. We would buy it every year, and that was one of our things. We would always read that book. We just laughed.
They were terrific. Well, you know what? We're avoiding the topic. I don't really want to talk about it.
Let's move on to something else.
Let's talk about it, because when Gary jumps in, we're going to be eating some crow. At least I will. You took it as a professional right down the middle last week. I, of course, was very overly confident. And, Gary didn't seem as confident last week. Gary, by the way, Gary Martin Hayes, a sponsor of our program, is also an Alabama fan. He was born in Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to have,
and that makes you an Alabama fan. Just
it's your birthright.
Being born within the boundaries of that state.
Wonder how many boys have the middle name Bear, and now Nick probably.
There was that one dude. You remember the guy who? I'm not sure if he's still living or not. The guy who poisoned the trees in Auburn. You remember that story?
Place? No.
They toilet paper the trees at Toomer's Corner in Auburn when they win.
Yeah.
Well, this Alabama guy, he poisoned the trees with some chemicals. This is many years ago. And then he called in the Paul Feinbaum radio show and told everybody what he had done. And then, of course, he was discovered and he was arrested.
So he was a big dummy criminal, I guess, Scott.
Yes, he was. He was bragging about it.
That's your cue, by the way, for those that listened a long time ago. So he was a big dummy criminal. Isn't that right, Scott?
Oh, I'm sorry. You big dummy.
That one brings back some memories. All right. So he calls in the radio show and wrapped himself out.
And he tells Feinbaum what he had done because he was this huge Alabama fan. And the reason he did it, apparently, is and this may have been about 15 years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, someone had put an Auburn jersey on the Bear Bryant statue in Tuscaloosa. So this made him mad. I think maybe was what instigated this issue. And he goes to Toomer's Corner sometime later that season. I don't know if it was immediate, but and he poisoned the trees, and the trees died.
Wow.
They had to replace the trees and everything. It was a big deal. But his kids, I go back to my original point, he had a son named Bear, and he had a daughter. You'll like this. Her name was Crimson Tide.
Well, what if she got accepted to a different school? I mean, it's kind of easy to get accepted in Alabama, so that doesn't matter. So, there was a dig. Sorry.
But but back to your point, there probably are quite a few folks. I don't know if there's any Georgia fans who name their kids Ugga or anything like that. So there may be. I don't know.
There'll be a few Kirby's floating around in about 18 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
We're going to see going to Georgia. Absolutely, it's a cool name anyway.
Georgia folks, I think, name their dogs after famous Georgia people. There's a
Oh,
lot of
Champ. Remember, I
Munsons.
don't know if you remember, we were doing the morning show and I got my dog Jake, my yellow lab, and we let the audience pick his name. And I almost went with Champ because of Champ Bailey. So that's what
Yeah,
I
that's a
came
good
up
one.
with Jake. But Champ's a good one. What are
There
some
was
other
a lot
dog
of
names?
Murrays when Aaron Murray was
Sure.
playing.
That's a great name.
I mean, you can just go down the list. I'm sure there's a lot of
There are going to be a few Gunners as well,
lots of
maybe after this
Dooleys,
group.
lots of Herschels, lots of
Yeah.
Munsons.
No Scotts, no Howards.
Hope
No.
not.
The ultimate tribute to name your dog after after Scott.
A dog named Howard. I don't know.
Pretty
That dog's
funny.
gonna get beaten up every day at the park.
Well, our dogs, they didn't get beat up, but our pride did. But let's just go into it and dive into it. I mean, let's talk about the positives first. The fan experience. I know that we talked last week that you don't get to enjoy the fan experience, and the experience. Like I mentioned last week, I brought my son Everett in, and he graduated from UGA last year, so this was a big game for him to come home to. And Everett, he'd never seen the Dogs lose at home. Matter of fact, during his tenure at Georgia, he had 2 natties, right? And so,
Wow.
this was I'm like, he's spoiled. So we left the stadium. I'm jumping ahead now. We'll go back to the atmosphere in a minute, but we left the stadium after the loss, and he is livid. Like he is just like his whole week is ruined, of course, and he's never experienced it. He doesn't know what it's like. And he looks at me and goes, "I'm just spoiled." I said, "Yeah, you are. I mean, it's pretty great.
Hey,
It's
that's a good
over
life
33."
lesson.
Say it again.
That was a good life lesson for him.
It was.
Not that he wanted it, but
Well, and it was disappointing, and it was a challenge. But let's circle back to that atmosphere. I'm sure you felt it up in the booth. We were in downtown Athens for a while. Then we had a great view of the dog walk, thanks to you, by the way. So thank you for what you provided us to enjoy a great lunch and check out the dog walk. It was electric. Going inside the stadium, and then I know that you had to enjoy this as well from a broadcaster, but wasn't that incredible with the wristbands, with how it looked around the stadium? It was awesome.
It was very neat. I mean, we're up very high in the southwest corner of the stadium, is where the new press box is located.
Oh,
So
you're up there now? I was looking up there. That's where you are now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're down near the bridge.
Yeah, well, so was I, up top in the southeast part of the corner, where, by the way, not a lot of red shirts, a lot of crimson shirts. There, we were around a lot. We were in the Alabama fan sections where we were.
Oh, wow. Okay. By choice?
Well, I let the kid pick out the tickets, right? So and I just paid him. and so I think he went for probably the cheapest, because I'm not going to lie, they weren't cheap at all.
For that game, no, it was. I think the cheapest I saw at the last, late in the week last week was, I don't know, maybe $350.
Well, that's less
that was
than
the
what we
get-in
paid per
price.
ticket. That's
What's
less.
that?
That's less than what we paid per ticket to sit with Alabama fans.
Okay,
but we had a pretty good view of the stadium. But
it was high demand, so the ticket sellers had a good weekend.
They sure did, and so did Alabama fans that we were surrounded by, and some were pretty classy, but most weren't pretty classy. Let's just leave it that
That's
way.
unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, because you know what? I really enjoy the banter, as long as it's fun.
Yeah.
And there's kids around, and so the banter should be there. I mean, that, the razzing when we get a touchdown or when they get a touchdown, but that adds to the experience if it's done positively. This one, it was marginal, but nonetheless, it was still a great experience. They do a wonderful job at Sanford Stadium, especially for those night games. Just incredible. I'm sure as a broadcaster, they had to hype you up as well.
Yeah, you get excited for that. I mean, because that atmosphere just builds your energy, and then you got all day long. I'm not crazy about the night games, to be honest with you. It's just such a long day, and
you don't eat before a game.
You're ready to go. I mean, it's not like I sleep until 2:00 because we have a night game. So, I mean, you're on a regular schedule. You get up and you go through your morning routine on a game day, and it's like, I'm ready to go to the stadium. It's like 9 or 10 o'clock. I'm ready to go. And it's like, well, the game's not starting for another 8, 9, 10 hours. So it's not time to go. But so there's, you have to kind of deal with that and pull back on the reins a little bit. But
it's always fun, though. As a fan, I love the night games, because for a couple reasons. One, I like to watch College Game Day. I love it. I know that there's some people that might disagree with that, but I'm a huge fan of it. I love the lineup they have. Even Nick Saban, which is hard for me to say. He's great on that program, right? And then you got all the games you can watch usually throughout the day, and the pregame for Georgia on the SEC network during SEC Nation was fun because they were out there, and there was a huge announcement
Yeah.
prior that we're pretty excited here at My Country 99.3 WCON.
Is that right? What is that? What
Well,
was
that
that now?
announcement, there are a couple of country stars coming back to Sanford Stadium for a spring concert. Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan, both Georgia boys. I think Luke's from way down in South Georgia, down there by Albany. And then, of
Yeah.
course, we got Jason Aldean from Macon, Georgia. Dog fans their entire life. And they're going to do a double bill at Sanford Stadium April 25th next year. So that was kind of fun. That was pretty exciting. The pregame, they were at the ball game as well. They were there. And it was cool to see them.
Everybody was there. I mean, it was a who's who of
Who else
former
did you see? What other
players.
celebrities were there? Did you see?
Well, I saw a lot of former Georgia guys. You know, they brought a bunch of them out on the field.
They
You
did, it's cool.
recognize them. You know, Sony was there, Sony
Yeah.
Michelle,
Oh,
and Richard Seymour, who's in the Hall of Fame. His son's on the team now.
right.
I saw Anthony Edwards from the NBA, Ant-Man. God, who else was there? Oh, Quavo was there. That's
They
always a
all
favorite.
Everett went bananas when Quavo
Did he?
came out. Oh, that's his guy. Yeah. I'm like, who?
I mean, and those were just the ones I saw on the video board.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
was great.
at times when we weren't actually on the air and stuff, but it was a busy sideline. I know that.
It was a busy sideline, a lot of fun, and really kind of went down to the wire. Kinda. I mean, it was a close game with 24-21, Bama.
Yeah,
But
3-point game most of the fourth quarter.
yeah,
And,
and so we had a chance. We were hanging on, and then just didn't execute. It was lack of execution. I would say questionable play calling from time to time. Now, look, I'm a just above a casual fan. I'm not an X's and O's guy. I never played football. I'm a fan. I know enough to be dangerous to do this podcast with you, but I just have to say, Scott, that and for me to question a genius like Kirby Smart makes me sound really, really stupid. But as a fan, when we were on their 8-yard line, was it? Their 8, and we went for it on fourth down instead of kicking to tie it. I was mad. I was like, wait, what are you doing? Let's just go and tie it. It's a new game. And
You
let's
wanted
go.
that field goal, huh?
I wanted the field goal, and I think I might have been in the minority. My son, who I keep referencing on the show, but he works for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He does analytics. He's the analytic guy. So he's sitting explaining to me all the reasons, and that's what Kirby said. But like he's all the reasons why it was best to go for it right there. I, on the other hand, is like, let's play it safe. Let's tie this thing up. New game. I think there's a lot of there would be a mental component to that as well. I mean, to know you're tied as opposed to taking a chance. And anyway, that's my take on it. I was upset about it. I'm still mad about it. And then I think that might have changed it. What does the pro here think about that? You don't do opinions very often that I remember, Scott, listening to you, but do you wish they would have gone for, as a fan, would have tied it?
Well, obviously, I wish the outcome had been different in the final score.
Of course.
You know, I don't really get into that.
It's easy to second guess, I'm sure.
I'm not critical because it is easy after it happens because you know what happened wasn't in Georgia's favor. So naturally, you're going to have an opinion that is in favor of Georgia coming out on the good side. So you know, we didn't try the field goal. We went for it on fourth down. We didn't make it. So then that creates an avalanche of criticism.
But Kirby likes to hold to his plan, which is why he's Kirby, right? Like, and he says that's in that situation.
Yeah, we even said it in the post game. You know, 10 times out of 10 times, I'm going for that.
And you know what? Had they scored, I wouldn't be here complaining about it, right?
Well, and here's the thing. Here's the thing on that play, on the fourth down play when Cass Jones got tackled, tripped up behind the line, and we turned it over on downs. If you execute the play works. I mean, you can go back and watch the video, but there's a couple of blocks on the right side of the line of scrimmage that didn't happen. One, maybe two, that allowed Alabama's defensive line to kind of, to penetrate upfield, and they just got enough of Cash to trip him up
Yeah.
and force him to lose his balance, and he wasn't able. But if they hit their blocks, if they get their
Yeah.
blocks,
He's wide
you
in.
can watch from the end zone
Yeah.
camera, you can watch that play develop, and it's like he's going to get the first down at least, and he might get a touchdown.
For that
It's
reason,
that kind of stuff. I mean, it's risk reward.
it's risk reward
obviously.
always. In that point, it just mattered a lot
And
to.
it didn't work for us. It
It didn't
work.
work. And when you go to a game, I go to maybe 3 a year. I'm going to go to the Ole Miss game, and then I'll probably pay the money to go to the Texas game too.
Oh man, look at you going to all the biggies.
Well, I love it. I love the
So
environment.
you're going to be on the sideline for the next two, right? And they'll bring you out. And
Yeah, they'll
give
bring
you
me
one
out
of
and be
those-
like, "Who?"
Give you one of those
Boo!
big trophies that as soon as you get back on the sideline, they take them back.
Yeah. No, I'll probably be sitting up in whatever section again, just to be able to get in. But no, going to the game, the environment, walking into the stadium, the chanting. I'm a fan. I love all of that stuff. But I'll tell you, I might have had a different opinion on that play that we've been discussing had I watched on television. Because on TV, you get to see it over and over and over again. And then you got, the broadcasters commenting on it. And you see where, from what I saw, I can only look at so much, and it didn't happen. And I was disappointed.
That point will be argued for a long time about that game. Should we have kicked? And I don't know what the metrics say. I don't know. I'm not privy to all that math information.
Right.
Georgia uses that stuff like most teams in every sport.
In every sport
I
now.
don't get caught up in
Well,
all the opinion of it, at least not on the air. Maybe privately, after the game, I'll have my own thoughts, but I don't really.
well, that's why you're pro,
tangled
Scott.
up in
Honestly,
all
it's
that
not your
stuff.
job to get up there and second guess, right? Your job is just to present what's
No,
taking
I'm not
place.
one of those ESPN talking heads
Exactly. Yeah, don't do
or
that.
the vast people that do one of these things that's all they do is complain and gripe and about everything in life. It's
Well,
I'd rather have some fun.
that's right, and you always have, and it served you well, friends of Georgia Radio Hall of Famer. I just keep saying it because I know you get I think it's in your contract. I got to say it a certain number of times.
Yeah. Well, if I had a contract, it would definitely be in that.
We're spending a lot of time talking about that decision to not go for the field goal, but there were missed opportunities too. There was one dropped pass that just
Yeah.
made my heart sing. Tell us more
Yeah.
about that for those that might
Right there with you.
Yeah.
That was a tough one. Unfortunate for that guy. He's a freshman. Talon Taylor, and Kirby said after the game, you gotta love on them, is what he said, and give those kids confidence. And
Absolutely. And you know what?
he's gonna be in a
And like-
situation the next time where he's going to have to make the play. So hopefully that will be the case for him next time it rolls around.
Like Kirby said, I mean, this is a game we just got to learn from. I love it. You got to love that. You just got to love on him. Who doesn't want that guy coaching their kid? Because that might have changed the game. But you know what? Later down the road, maybe it will serve him well. He learned from it. There's a mental component.
I
to
mean,
that, obviously.
there are a lot of lessons in the game of football, a lot of life lessons. I did not play at the college level. I played in high school, and you learn a lot of things. Certainly at that point in your life, you need some discipline. You need
mental fortitude. Learn how to bounce back after a play like that. Not just make that define you. Especially
you need team concept. Life is not just you by yourself, and you need other people around you to help and assist with things as you can do with others. And so it's a great it's a great way to learn if you're a young man and want to learn the lessons of life. Football is a game that can teach that to you, and we saw a lot of those
a lot of
these kids in
lessons
their
on
late teens, early 20s that they're learning those lessons, and we saw a lot of those this past Saturday night. So hopefully it bodes well for them, and they go forward, and they're better humans for some of the mistakes and stuff they have to go through.
I like that you said better humans and not just better football players. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're dealing with kids here. I mean, you got
Let me go back and do that. Let's retake that. Edit that out. I hope they're better football players. My goodness. After that.
You know what? Both. but human first.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you were talking about sitting in the stands. It's like if you had better humans sitting around you, it may have been more enjoyable, even
Yeah.
though, your team didn't come out on top. It's like, and that's one part of the fan experience that I don't miss. People that have overindulged, people that can't control what they say. It's just
Well, and listen, there's I'm a fan. I've been a fan since you helped me become a fan. I learned about Georgia football with you when we were doing the morning show all those years ago. And I'm from California, so I became a fan in my late 20s. I'm in my late 50s now, so I've been a fan for a long time. But a lot of these people, they find their identity through their team. And I love that there's such passion. I mean, I love it. That's why I like to be at the game. I enjoy the passion. I enjoy being around other dogs. I even enjoy being around the other team when they're clever. Oh, there he is. There's the other team right now. Just for this week. Gary Martin Hayes joining us.
Hey, guys. What are y'all talking about?
Oh, just a little football game that took place last Saturday. No big deal. Let's talk about something else, shall we?
Okay. It was a good one. It was a good one.
It was a good one. It was a good game. From our side of it, and again, for those that didn't get a chance to listen last week, Gary Martin Hayes joining us here on In the Doghouse with Tim and Scott. Well, hold on. He holds up his Alabama
I'm so sorry.
I got my Georgia mug.
I got a water bottle. Members Mark, not Maker's Mark.
Oh, if it's Maker's Mark, it might be a whole new podcast.
It's even cheap water. I mean, how bad is that?
Well, Gary, welcome in. Congratulations to your fan base and to the Crimson Tide. You just outright beat us, and that's what we're talking about. And we were when you jumped in, we were talking about the fan experience. I remember you saying, I asked you, off the podcast if you were going to the game, and you're like, nope, I'm going to enjoy it from my house. Actually, you were down at Margaritaville, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I had a little getaway with my wife. Yeah, but I got to tell you guys, I was nervous heading into this game.
We knew it. Last week you said you didn't know which Alabama team would show up.
Well, I was afraid they were looking ahead to Vanderbilt.
Undefeated, baby.
Yeah. I'm actually getting nervous about the Georgia Tech game, too, coming up a little bit later.
Well, in college game days, going to Tuscaloosa for the Vandy game. I mean, that's incredible.
So you're being serious.
I'm being serious, yeah.
Vanderbilt. Okay, well.
Yeah, I don't know who they played, but I didn't understand that. I thought for sure they would have been the Georgia-Bama game in Athens. And what an incredible environment it looked like on TV. I mean, you guys were there, got to experience it.
Gary, it was. Of course, Scott experienced it from the professional standpoint. I did as a fan. We started out in downtown Athens, where everything is just kind of fun and crazy, and then walk through campus, which is such a beautiful campus, and then down to the Tate Center for the dog walk, which is amazing. That gets you fired up as a fan, and certainly you could see Kirby and the players walking in, and then into that ball game. And you notice too from television, I bet it looked amazing. We talked earlier about the fans they handed out these LED wristbands for us to wear, which was synchronized with music and sound effects, and it was just a great environment. A great college football game, SEC game. It didn't work out for us. Scott and I were talking about some of the questionable, at least to me, questionable play calling, some drop passes.
Yeah. Well, I think it came down from the Bama perspective. You guys stopped running the ball, and y'all were killing us with the runs. I don't know why you decided to try and pass some, but when our edge rusher, Q Russaw, went out, we were so exposed with young talent, and you guys were killing us with so many yards per rush. I don't know why you abandoned that, because we have such a hard time stopping it.
I think we have an availability on Wednesday. Let's go back and replay that. We'll go back on Wednesday, get everybody back in the stadium, and we'll see.
See what happens.
We'll get a do-over.
Yeah. Let's do it over.
Yeah. And I tell you, Ty Simpson, he's really coming to his own. I mean, you guys could not put any pressure on him. I think only one sack. Georgia didn't force any turnovers. That was a huge part of the game.
No, well, Alabama hadn't turned the ball over all season, other than on fourth down turnovers.
Yeah.
But they haven't
converted on 3
fumbles or
third
Yeah.
down as well, too, quite a bit.
And our
I don't
third
get the
down
number.
conversions, we were 13 of 19. Georgia was only 2 of 8.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, therein lies the difference, and you just got to say it. I mean, you're our kryptonite. I hate saying it, but I mean, Alabama's our kryptonite. We had a lot of fun last week celebrating the Natty, but when you really look at that the overall record and back and forth, and I mean, you're our kryptonite. How else do we say it? We got to find a way to beat you.
now do you say the kryptonite because one of your players did the Superman dive into the stack? I mean,
Into the pile.
yeah.
Oh,
What?
and that play. Oh my gosh.
I
All
know.
of us.
What
Like,
was he
what are you
thinking?
doing? I get what he was doing. He was probably just trying to move it. I get it, but okay, I'm not gonna we gotta love on him. is
Not
what
the
we're
time, not the place.
we gotta love on him, but I wasn't loving on him that night.
Yeah.
Only just 15 yards. Okay.
What's the old,
Is what I wanted to say.
what's the old expression? Hate the sin, not the sinner.
I mean, that's what that was, right? He was just trying to move it.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't hear the whistle. I don't know what the story was, but anyway, we can sit here and pick it apart, but when it's all said and done, it was a good ball game. It was a great environment. It added to the rivalry. And Gary, what you missed earlier in the podcast was I was sitting up in the Alabama fan section, so a lot of crimson around.
And hopefully they treated you well.
And so, anyway,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I'm sure it goes both ways, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
it goes both ways. But we were talking about how much we enjoy the fan experience, even when the opposing fans are in the stands, and
Yeah.
if there can be some fun banter back and forth, and you tip your cap to them afterwards. But we didn't do that. We didn't stay to tip our cap. As soon as that first down conversion, we bolted. We're like out of there. I did not want to hear a chant. I didn't want to. It was just I don't want to hear that in our house.
Now, what was your post game experience like? Getting
You're
to your
asking me?
car,
I'll
getting
tell
out of
you.
town. Yeah.
My post-game experience was this. It was even worse than the game because I had to deal with my son who was very upset, complaining all the way back to the car, and we parked in a parking deck in downtown Athens.
Oh.
You ready for this? 3 hours in the parking deck to get out. 3 hours. I went to bed at 3:30 Sunday morning just because it's downtown Athens. And so there's like one way out and kids just walking back and forth. And I didn't know what was going on. I almost got out of the car to walk down to say, go, move. But there's just the traffic of all the kids who have overindulged all day into the evening and early morning, just blocking it. And nobody was. So 3 hours, just shy of 3 hours in the parking deck, just added insult to injury.
Wow, that's disgusting.
Yes. So I'm not doing that. And I've parked in that deck all the time. It's affordable. It's $40 to park. You get there early enough, you get in, you get out, but I've never been for a night game.
So you don't have the police escort home like Scott does.
No. Yeah. James driving him home. Yes. Good heavens.
Oh, love you.
In the limousine provided by the network.
It's in my contract. I think it took me a couple hours to get home because when I came out, and I park in one of the decks also, but I got, and normally when I come out, I mean, it's well after the game is over and a lot of the traffic has dissipated by then. And normally it's not a big issue to get home. There's not too much traffic left on the road. But these night games and that one going down to the, final seconds of the play, no one left. So all of a sudden you got 100,000 people just exiting at once. And it takes a little while for some crowd disbursement to get everybody out of town and on their way. But I got redirected coming out of the parking deck. I was redirected and I went towards downtown, which I never do. I don't live in that direction. And what a mess. I mean, like you said, just people just pedestrians in the street, crossing everywhere. They had certain roads blocked off. They're trying to direct traffic in specific directions. And you just sit and sit and sit. And it was very frustrating, especially after a loss and after you've been working all day. I mean, that's the last thing you want to be doing, just sitting in traffic, just steaming.
Well, and then dealing with what I had to deal with. So I mentioned Everett's passionate. the boy was born at St. Mary's, just down the road from Sanford Stadium. That boy's been a dog from the time he was born. And he was spoiled. Like we mentioned earlier, while he was going to Georgia, he had 2 national championships. He's never seen Georgia lose at home. So Everett kind of walked maybe 5-10 steps ahead of me. He was just mad, barking back at me what we should have done. he's very competitive. So we're downtown Athens, and we're almost to the deck, and had no idea I was going to be stuck in there 3 hours, already in a bad mood. And then this group of Alabama, this kid gets in my face. A kid. I mean, I could be his dad, and he just gets in my face and was just, I don't know what he said, but I just,
I'm sorry.
You punched him.
Yeah, I did. He's in hospital now.
You loved on him. You gave him a hug.
No.
Said, good game, good game,
I
good
just
game.
looked at him like, man, your parents didn't raise you right. I mean, seriously, I'm an old man, and you're like in my face, like.
Yeah. I apologize. In Bama,
he hadn't hit me. I could have called Gary Martin Hayes as well. Right. I wish he would have hit me.
Yeah, well, in Bama, we don't have family trees. We have family shrubs. It's one of those on that level. So I'm sorry.
Or family trees that look like a telephone pole. Oh,
yeah. It's a tree with no forks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was you asked about the post-game experience. Let me just tell you, it wasn't fun. But before we jump on to next week and put the wraps on this show, Gary, you enjoyed your time with Sherry, hopefully. Your first weekend as an empty nester away. Loved that you had a chance to hang out together.
It was great. Yeah, no line to the refrigerator to get the beer, no line to the bathroom, so life was good.
Well, we could go ahead and put this one behind us. We tip our cap to Alabama. You beat us. And Georgia dropped to 10 in the coaches poll and 12 in the AP poll. Scott, if you would, the rankings for a casual fan, please, if you wouldn't mind explaining the implications of that, especially as we get, as we inch closer to playoff time, to CFP, but this loss doesn't mean we're out of it now, like it used to. But you lose to Alabama and SEC, like you're done for the year. But could you please put a bow on that and explain that to those that are still trying to figure that out?
It's September. The rankings don't mean anything, so that's the simple way to put it. They're talking points. Say, we're number 1, we're number 8, we're number 12, whatever it is.
He loves it though. I mean, when you got 2 top 10 matchups and everything else. So,
well, they're hyping it and they're trying to sell it. I mean, everybody does that. That's in the media business. But at this point, the rankings are just a talking point. They have no significance, and they won't until we get to November when the CFP poll comes out, and that's the poll. The College Football Playoff poll is the one, and that has a lot of metrics in it, and a lot of other things. And there's a committee and the whole, you got the human element and everything, and that's when the 12 playoff teams will be selected and sorted through and all of that. So you want to be in that good position come November. So, if you continue to lose games through October, then obviously you're not going to be in that picture. But
so it's a little more than talking points still. I mean, we're still top 10 coaches poll, 12 AP polls, but we don't want to drop too far. I mean, we got Kentucky coming up this week.
Right. No, you got to take care of business. I mean, if you want to be in the playoffs, you got to win the bulk of your games. I mean, you can't just continue to lose and then, I hope we're going to make the playoff. That's not going to happen. This one hasn't eliminated anybody at this point. But if you're Georgia, you got to take care of your business and put yourself in position come November to be on that list.
Well, Gary, for Alabama, what a great win, not just because it's a win against the Dawgs at Sanford Stadium, SEC conference game, but it almost maybe kind of nullifies what took place a few weeks ago with the direction of people were feeling with the program. That's got to feel pretty good, with the Florida State loss and everything. So this was
but we've got to show some consistency, and Vandy's going to be a big challenge. Can't believe I'm saying that. Last year they're undefeated, and really we still don't know how
going
good
for
we
2.
are. That's right, because Florida State lost to what, UVA.
Yeah.
Whoa, what a game that was.
I agree with Scott. Any given Saturday, especially in the SEC, everybody is vulnerable.
So it makes the SEC so great. One of the many things that makes the SEC so great.
Yeah.
Well, here's some talking points. I mean, Georgia's got Kentucky this week at noon in Athens. They've won 15 in a row in that series. I mean,
But
that's
they play us. Don't they normally play us pretty well, though? I mean, not last year. I think
last year was a
pretty good
1-point
margin.
game. Yeah, it was 13-12 last year up in
Oh.
Lexington. But Georgia's won 15 straight, 17 of 18, and then 26 of the last 28. I mean,
Wow.
that's how much they've dominated this series. But as you point out, Tim, it's not always easy. I mean, there have been some lopsided wins over that stretch, but you just got to take care of your business. You can't take anything for granted. Got to go back to work and be ready for Saturday for the next opponent. Vanderbilt for Alabama, Kentucky for Georgia. So
Yeah. Well, and this should hopefully help Georgia this week because Kentucky has no passing attack. They don't have a great
they've got a
quarterback.
quarterback situation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can stop the run, and they do have a great running back in Seth McGowan, but if you can stop that, Georgia's going to win easily.
Oh, he said it. I can't say that, but Gary said
Well, I like it.
You just jinxed us.
Well, as we're looking ahead, Vandy, Alabama, we've got Georgia, Kentucky. Is it worth bringing up any injuries right now? I mean, what to look forward to? I know what you mentioned last week. Really, the official list doesn't come out till later in the week. But any significant injuries over these teams?
Kentucky, running back Jamarian Wilcox is out. So is defensive lineman Nick Smith, wide receiver David Washington, their tight end Elijah Brown. Questionable Zach Calzada, who's kind of a backup quarterback. He's not that good. So bottom line, Georgia is favored by 21.5, and I think they're easily going to cover. Kind of the revenge game. They're taking the revenge for the Bama game out on Kentucky.
We'll do it, whatever it takes, just to get another SEC win and get the Dogs back on track. Gary, before
there was one other injury.
Yeah,
my throat I was a little hoarse.
And Scott Howard is questionable. He's on day to day.
I'm taking lozenges, throat lozenges, cough drops, and stuff, so I should be good to go. I'm questionable right now, but I should be probable by the end of the week.
I'll help you file that workers' comp claim against Waffle House.
Oh, there you go. Yes, I like it.
Well, and Gary, that's a perfect segue. We'd love to tell our audience that aren't familiar with you. I can't imagine anybody in Georgia isn't, especially if they drive 85. I like to point that out every week. There's Gary. I was driving with my in-laws down 85 and like, hey, there's your friend Gary up there. Yes.
Now that is a sore subject for me. I got sued for my billboards. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This lady said I gave her diabetes from all this eye candy.
Man, I bought that one hook, line, and sinker.
So the first time he told me that one. Yeah.
That's funny.
I thought maybe one fell on somebody or something.
Oh, me.
But honestly, Gary, if we could just let our audience know what you do. And let's also talk about the amazing show you have, the Intersection Radio on My Country. First, though, how do you help out Georgia families if they've been injured?
Yeah, I help people when their life has been turned upside down because of a tractor trailer wreck, a car wreck, or they've lost a loved one in an accident. Been doing this for 36 years. We recovered more than $1 billion for our clients. A lot of the attorneys you see on TV, you see on the billboards, they don't live here. They don't have a license to practice law here. As far as I'm concerned, that's not right. And I am here. I'm local. Georgia's my home. Even though I pull for Bama, I do pull for Georgia as my second favorite team. But that's what we do day in, day out. We're helping people through some dark times in their life.
Well, let me tell you, and I'm going to take it a step further, Gary. Many, many years ago, and I think we've got some plans for some future pairings to help out the community. You know, you say you're local, Gary, but I've worked with you with several charitable organizations throughout North Georgia. And so you say you're local, but your heart is here as well, too, and you give back. And I know you won't say it, but I'll say it. And it was been a pleasure of mine to serve with you for those various charitable organizations, and I'm going to recruit you to do one that I'm working on as well, too.
Sounds great.
And so behind the mic, he's not so bad either, too. The show, The Intersection Radio, Gary intersects songs of faith with the music that made country great every Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Tell us about The Intersection Radio, besides what I just said, Gary.
Yeah, we tell the story behind the songs. And I think once you understand the why, the next time you hear that song, it's going to resonate that much more. So it's an hour of uplifting, inspirational music to help you get your mind oriented right for the start of the new week. And Fortunately, it was not interception radio, Scott, this week.
Could have used a few of those.
Yeah.
We could
yeah,
use
you
maybe
could.
one of those or two. Well, it's the Intersection Radio, 7 o'clock Sunday nights. That's a consistent time now. The Atlanta Braves season are over. We're not carrying the Braves anymore. So moment of silence for the Braves season. Okay, there we are. They'll bounce back in 2026. Plenty of football left to be played here in 2025. Congratulations, Crimson Tide. Ooh, that hurts to say that a little bit. Bring on the Kentucky Wildcats. Gary Martin Hayes, thanks for being with us, buddy. Scott Howard, great to see you. Have a great call this week against the Wildcats. We'll catch you next week on In the Doghouse with Tim and Scott. Brought to you by Gary Martin Hayes and Associates on My Country 99.3 WCUN. See you guys.